I think it's working. I do believe we are live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How are you all doing?
Hello.
We have our panelists for today. Is that the right word? What are you? Are you panelists?
Experts.
Experts.
Yeah.
Don't get carried away, Leo. you're on the internet anyway. Well, here we are, the panelists today on the WP Builds Weekly WordPress News. I feel there's quite a lot to talk about this week and some major stuff that I actually didn't get to put in the news because it only really happened over the weekend, including this morning. So we'll probably get to that at some point. But as always, few introductions. My name's Nathan Wrigley. I never introduced myself. I'm Nathan Wrigley. And yeah, that's all I need to say. And over there is Paul Lacey. How you doing, Paul?
I'm really good, thank you. The sun's out in the UK
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
for at least 5 minutes.
Yes.
So I'm feeling good. And I've ironed a shirt today, especially for this.
Have you? Did you?
Yeah.
That's a complete lie, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is that? What's this hat that you've got on there? I know, but tell us.
That's Dicky Birds, which is my company. So I'm Paul from Dicky Birds Studio. So we're a WordPress agency in the UK.
Okay,
Yeah.
That was your elevator pitch is getting shorter and shorter. You're just going from one floor to the next floor now. That's all.
Next time you'll say, go on, and I'll just say, Paul.
Yeah, get it down to you just get it on some sort of symbol with your hands, semaphore. And
The sound of a dicky bird.
yeah, that's right, an MP3 file of a dicky bird. And that was Vito Peleg. How you doing, Vito? Introduce yourself.
It's great to be here. I'm Vito. I'm the founder of WP Feedback. We help WordPress professionals communicate with clients, and also through our brand new platform, we help WordPress professionals communicate with each other.
I've put that in the show notes. Actually, it's
Yeah,
one of the things I was waiting until you were on, because I thought, what better time to announce it than when you were on? And where have we gone? There we are. There's Leo.
Yep.
How are you doing, Leo?
Very well, Nathan. Thank you.
You've got the really nice audio going on there, Leo. For some reason,
Good.
I expect you've got a bank of technology just below the camera. Making it sound super good.
It's just to the left, but yes.
Okay. yeah. I wonder if we could guess what company Leo's from. Is there any giveaway on the screen?
Any branding?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. That's it. It's the vast amount you pay us to be here.
Tell us about Sotic.
Well, you got it nearly right, Sotic. We're a digital sports agency that we help governing bodies and federations deliver with WordPress online. I'm going to say we'll be working on the world sailing at the Olympics this year, but we may cover that later on in the news of where things are going. And we're working on the Six Nations, of which at least one event has already been cancelled.
That was a big piece of news in just the domestic news today, or was it yesterday? I can't remember. Over the weekend, Six Nations Rugby is apparently going to go behind a paywall, which it hasn't done for the last frequent number of years. I can't say.
No, it's part of various different things which are unprotected, although it's not. I don't think it is actually on the protected list, but media landscapes change, and I think we'll probably even cover that in what we're going to talk about the landscape changing in our own environment. Okie
dokie. In which case, let me just put this thing up. We're going to be covering the news for the previous week, hopefully. We have a news article, which I'll get to in a moment. But if you do want to comment, I'll tell you what, we've been having real problems with the comments. So if I don't know if Leo or Paul or Vito want to police that a little bit. In theory, the platform should suck them in from the various destinations like YouTube and Facebook and things, but it seems to have been broken for the last little while. So great apologies, but if any of you guys want to just tell me if there's any comments, that would be most helpful. But I can't see any just at the moment. Right. Oh, so David McCann apparently says, hi, hey, a Dicky Bird. So the comments are not working, it would seem. I'll need to figure out why that is. But let's crack on anyway. Let me take this banner off and share my screen. If I can find that button. Where's it gone? Here it is. Okay, so just a couple of quick things about us. This is what we are. This is WP Builds. That's our homepage. We release a podcast every week. This is the most recent one. It was with David and I. I'm just queuing up next week's, which is with Elliot Condon from ACF, and it's a really nice episode. It's a blooming long one as well. I really enjoyed chatting to him. And then we have up here at the menu item, we got this subscribe link. If you click on that, you can find out about WP Builds stuff. Fill out that form. you want to find out about any WordPress deals, fill out that form. And then it's things like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Facebook group, blah, 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 all that. And then this button here brings you to the news archive. This is released each week, Monday morning. That's what we're talking about now. And this is the latest one. So if you want to go and find that episode number 103, then that will tell you exactly what we're talking about. And first up, WordPress core sort of news. Let me just find the link. Okay, let's put it up on the screen here. Not really a lot to say about this, in all honesty, other than the fact that we have a new version of WordPress 5.4 beta 4. And then also we'll talk about this one here, which is Gutenberg 7.6, which has actually got quite a nice new little feature in it. I have literally nothing to say about the new release of WordPress. It's just a beta. There was nothing of great excitement in there. Did any of you find anything of interest in there?
Just general points. I think the only thing that is kind of advancing is adding this little widget to the dashboard. Widget for the site health, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah. So site health was introduced, I think in 5, or was it 5.1 or something like that? And it just sort of gives you, to be honest with you, it's kind of gone completely silent on me. Right at the beginning, I got a few little alerts. I can't remember even what they were about. And then it just stopped doing things. And as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of gone away. I haven't really received any notifications about anything. But anyway, so as is typically the case, with all the quick edit and all that kind of stuff, you can have a site health notification in there. I don't really know too much about what it's going to do, but anyway, there you go. There's a link here where you can go and find out about it. But really, this is a beta test release. Go and check it out. Mooted for release, I believe, on the 18th. No, wrong, 31st of March. So they need people to test it for the next 28 days or something like that in order to get it sorted. Okay, in which case, let's move on. The next piece was this one over on WordPress Tavern. This is nice. There's quite a nice load of stuff going on here. The first one, Justin talks about all sorts of things about the speed improvements, which just continues to get marginally better, a tiny bit better. 7.7 seconds down from 8.5 based upon a 36,000 word, 1,000 block article. I mean, good grief. Does anybody produce? Actually, Vito, you might. I know that you have produced some very long pieces, so maybe that would satisfy you.
1,000 blocks.
That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got this new. It is a book essentially in one post. Yeah, we've got this new content sort of in. It's a rotating tip thing. So when you click the plus icon over here, you now get this rotating section here, and it gives you useful information. Justin seems to think it's a good idea. I tend to agree with him, but essentially it's just going to give you some information about the block in question and rotate around. So if it's not actually deployed for a particular block, it will just give you useful, helpful tips. At the minute, I think there's like 5 or 6 or 7, something like that. But hopefully over time it will become a bit more useful. Justin usefully said that he's contemplating writing a plugin so that it rotates quotes from Joss Whedon's Firefly. No doubt it'll be as popular as Hello Dolly. Anyway, there you go. And this is very interesting because this is the building block of what I have been waiting for a long time. I have no insight into what this is going to look like or insight into what it's going to feel like. But this is full site editing, the groundwork for it. So you can see in here, you've got blocks to put in: post title, date, content, author, and so on and so on. But they are simply placeholders at the moment. They don't actually do anything. But obviously, in order to ship this, rather than throw it out all at once, they're iterating through it. And right now, this is out as far as we've got. So this is, personally, I think this is quite a milestone, actually. It just gives us a glimpse into the kind of things that you'd be able to do. Featured image, excerpt, post tag. There was a few more. There's 12 blocks in total, and Justin feels that there need to be at least another dozen or so. And I can't remember what things they cover, but it's definitely written inside the article here. Anybody want to take that one, or are we all good?
The only thing I've got to say is the little tips thing is pretty nice, and I imagine that there'll probably be some kind of API that you can hook into to put your own tips rotating in there, or replace it with your own ones for your clients or something. Yeah. That would be nice. And the full site editing, it looks it doesn't look like full site editing yet, but it's definitely in that direction, isn't it? Because you've got the templated dynamic content. It's more like dynamic content blocks than full site editing, as far as I can see.
Yeah. But I suppose if you're going to create a page with dynamic content, this is one of the little milestones that you need to get over. So very nice. Yeah, really nice.
Next thing, we'll be hooking that up to pods or ACF fields or those kind of things. So I imagine that'll be the next couple of steps, maybe later on.
This is already done through the other tools, though. Like with Toolset, you can already do it.
Doing it.
Yeah, just all of those tools like ACF and what have you, they've all integrated with all sorts of page builders and things, haven't they already? And in the case of Toolset, they've just already done it all with the block editor, haven't they? It's all available as of now. Sort of differentiates itself with a nice orange icon, but I think they've done a nice job in making the icons not too fancy. They look like the original icons, but they're just a nice coat of orange, which is quite nice. Leo, you've managed to get the comments to work. So is that working over on the wpbuilds.com/live?
It works on YouTube.
Okay. So in that case, if you go here, pick the first of those links. wpbuilds.com/live should enable it to work. Anyway, just keep us posted, guys. Right, okay, so nice little movements. The next one that I want to mention, though, this is all about the community, and starting off with two fabulous bits of news. Just open these first two up, and then this third one will open up as well. So,
Nathan, I think we should have a new section this week, which is the Israeli community news. Because
what's that all about?
That's the entire three.
That's the first three.
Look, it's all about.
In between the Kinster ad and the WP Builds ads, this should be the Israeli community news.
Israelis.
That's right.
I love it. Put a little flag in there.
Israel is leading the way in the community this week, for sure.
Honestly, really is. Especially in terms of like raising money. So this is two really large rounds. The first one is Miriam Schwab, who was on this show a couple of weeks ago and a few weeks before that. Her hosting company Stratic, which is a way of kind of making WordPress kind of headless. So it's a static version of your WordPress website. Her and a few other colleagues, I presume she went along. They went over to Silicon Valley with the intention of coming back with $2 million. And goodness me, I wish this happened to me. Somehow they ended up coming back with $6.5 million. So massive congratulations. I presume that this will all then be funneled back into refining the product and, marketing and so on. And they've hired a very, very senior guy, and I've completely forgotten his name. Here he is. I confess I've not heard of him, but the laundry list of things that he's been involved in is pretty amazing. They also announced that Zeev Saraski, who co-created Zeev, thank you for that. That's very helpful. Who co-created PHP 3 and the Zend engine, that's the core of PHP 4, has joined the company as well. So that's pretty remarkable. So anybody want to pick up on Stratic getting $6.5 million?
Amazing. Yeah. And I think that this is like 2020. We talked about 2020 becoming the year of WordPress when it comes to fundraising and acquisitions and all this kind of stuff. We talked about this last year, and now February is already started to fulfill what we were kind of thinking that will happen on this show when we were talking in 2019. So it's beautiful to see. There's been a few just this week. This happened, and Web Ventures acquired a few other plugins as well. They announced 2 plugins that they acquired this week. I think that money comes into the ecosystem is going to help solidify this as the only way to go, even though it's kind of like it is, but it's not being viewed in that sense from investors' point of view, and also from other web developers' point of view. When they look at WordPress, they see it as a subpar solution sometimes, even though we that work here know that it's not the case. funneling money like this at this scale and getting like TechCrunch kind of coverage around these items is gonna definitely help mature the entire ecosystem. And I think that more than that, it's gonna spread some of the control that is very, very centralized in WordPress and should be broken down. So by companies doing this kind of stance, they're not only relying on the free repository like people used to before. They're counting on themselves. They're counting on investors from Silicon Valley. Things we haven't seen before, except for Automatic, which is beautiful in my mind.
Yeah, I was really impressed that TechCrunch picked up on it. I imagine the spike, if somebody publishes something on TechCrunch, must be pretty extraordinary. So that was I don't know who was responsible for getting it in front of TechCrunch, but what a heist. The minute that came, I mean, I opened TechCrunch on a daily basis, and the minute I saw the word Stratic, I was kind of spat my coffee out. It was like, whoa, what a great find. Anyone else?
Yeah, the concept of Stratic is a game changer. I think there's WordPress has been becoming more bloated, and this kind of thing as we go along, and security is constantly becoming a problem. And I imagine, while there is some flattening static plugins available for WordPress at the moment, I think Stratic have put it all together, and they've created a platform that means you can have WordPress, I guess you could call it, as your sort of headless CMS to generate static pages that would be super secure on another level that we've never seen before, compared to anything where we're trying to combine 15 security plugins to try and stop this or stop that or whatever. And suddenly it's going to be a gigantic thing for the environment as well. If WordPress is going in that direction. The huge savings on the environment, I think, will be massive. And I imagine what they've done with the funding thing is that they're the first ones to put it all properly together as a solution. Some smart people have said, this is the future. And that company's, Miriam and the company have nailed it. And that's it. They're going to go big places now. And you even look at the other big companies like WP Engine, and you think, have they peaked? Have they gone in a certain direction that is not actually the future, and that Stratic is the future? And so I'm really pleased for them. I'm happy to have met Miriam on here as well, and having met her as well, just amazing news for the team. I think this is a big moment in WordPress. So fantastic.
I don't know where this statistic comes from. I suppose it's just an exercise in explaining how confident they are in the approach that they've got. But basically, if all you're doing is serving up an HTML file, then they're making the claim that it's 99 and then insert an X number of nines. It's just basically utterly secure. I mean, there's presumably some genius somewhere who can figure out ways to break it, but the typical stuff which the script kiddies are doing won't be happening to your site anymore. So just great news, and so nice to have had Miriam on. And did you get the impression when Miriam on that she was just like oozing cleverness? She just came across that way. So let's hope.
I didn't get the impression she was about to land a $6.5 million deal though.
No.
I remember one day she was quite busy. Maybe.
I follow her on Facebook, and I noticed the scene that you can see there. She was posting updates about it a few days before, and she wasn't saying what it was. She was just sort of alluding to the fact that there's something extraordinary around the corner. But congratulations, great stuff. We think 6.5 million is quite a lot, and then this news dropped like about 24 hours later. This is to say that Elementor have raised 15 million from Lightspeed Venture Partners. Now, this is a really interesting story, not only for the gigantic amount of money that they've raised, but also because it raises all sorts of interesting questions about where Elementor are going in terms of their cloud offering. Now, later on in this article, and I'm going to struggle to find. Here we go. This is Brian Crosgard. This is over on poststatus.com. And Brian says this: I expect to see a fully hosted version of Elementor's site building capabilities where WordPress is at least partially hidden from view of the user. They are currently hiring, and there's a link to the hiring, for their cloud team, which is tasked with building, maintaining, and supporting the company cloud hosting SaaS solution. So interesting stuff. And again, I don't know if anybody wants to talk about this. They've raised a ton of money. They've got, as opposed to Miriam with her 12 or 13, these, I think they're up to 100 employees now. But it just grows exponentially as far as I can see. They've done everything right. And it would seem from all of the noises that are coming out that maybe we're going to see a kind of version of Elementor, which is perhaps not even using WordPress, or at least hiding WordPress. Future will tell, but I'm going to hand it over to you three to fight it out.
I think that when it comes to this WAS kind of solution, people are already doing this using Elementor, so it makes perfect sense for them to do it. More than that, I don't know if you know, but Pogo, the founders of Elementors, before they had this company, they had a different company in Israel that was a hosting company, using this page builder as the tool to build websites in there. They pivoted to Elementor. And now it looks like, or at least these are the rumors, that they want to do something like they did with Pogo, but on a bigger scale. Totally makes sense. I see this again, as a distribution of power, like Automatic created WordPress.com as their platform that is hosting and speed optimization and all of this, like a page builder, a website builder. With Elementor, I think there is this kind of strain a little bit, or at least the perception of these other builders that are out there, like Wix, Squarespace. Wix are also in Israel as well, so I'm sure that they are being compared to them all the time. And this could be a really great fight back to those DIY platforms that people have been using, like Wix and like Squarespace, to get them in the game of WordPress. Then they upgrade and work with a professional. I see it, all of these platforms, as a gateway to a website, not as a result, not as the endpoint of a website, just a way to get started in this space. Then usually, if you're serious and your business goes well, you'll probably go with a professional for the second iteration of it, out of Wix, out of Squarespace. At least here, you will already know the system.
Did you see the tweet? Did anybody see Matt Mullenweg's tweet? Because he unusually made a tweet about this, and he said he didn't. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but if you go to Photomat at Photomat, you'll see it somewhere. It's probably 3 or 4 days ago, and he was pondering whether they would just simply fork WordPress and run away with it on their own, and just do something like that, which of course they're completely entitled to do. But interesting. Maybe we should get Ben Pines back on and ask him directly, and then we'll have the lowdown. Anybody else, Leo?
Yeah.
Paul?
So these two stories to me are very interesting about the migration of the ecosystem and where the industry is going. So if you want to compare this to something like the mobile phone industry, you would have various different operating systems, and it was very different. Everybody was doing something very different. Or even if you go further back to sort of the computer building time, everybody was building their own PCs. What these two represent is a maturing of something and moving it away from potentially what we've talked about in the past, which is that people go to an individual website building company who do all the hosting, and they do all this, and they build everything, this, that, and the other. And you're going, well, I don't care about some of this anymore. I want it all to work. And what you're moving to is a more organized and refined environment. Stratic in particular is a good example of this, because what they're saying is, you'll still have your tools that you're supposed to, but what we're actually delivering end to end is there. Human Made are coming out with their own one, Altas, so that's a very similar environment. They're different approach because they're trying to do something else with it, but the same thing is that they're coming out with that environment that will be designed to do a certain thing. And you talked last year about some of the things like the one for newspapers, and I've forgotten what it's called.
News portal, news. I can't remember. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So all of these things are going to come out in the same way. You're going to be moving away from, I do your website, but that means I install PHP, then I install WordPress, then I install these plugins, then I install that. The negative side, and I can tell you this because I run a very, very similar platform to the Stratic one. So we do, ours are exactly the same. There is nobody hits the back end. A lot of plugins don't necessarily work in that environment.
Right.
You will find things do not work because, especially I'll give you a good example of one. A plugin that we're all used to, the redirection plugin. The redirection plugin, for it to work in the way that most people are used to, is it writes back into your database for every 404 error, so that you can actually look at your 404s and then address them. Well, if you suddenly have a static front end that has no gateway to a database, you can't record that information. So how do you deal with that? It's not the end of the world, but you just suddenly find that. Or an even easier example is you've got something like WP Forms.
Right.
A form system. I don't know about WP Forms, but you've got a form system that needs or is expecting to see a database sitting there, and you're going to go, no, it's not there. So that's where.
So what do you do? Do you create adaptations for all of these tools?
Yeah, some of them we do. Some of them we've had this discussion internally. Do we sit there and fork the code? Do we make changes? Do we go back to the code developers? Personally, my feeling is that as everybody starts maturing to get to the point of expecting a headless CMS, that the plugins will either adapt to it, or they'll have a headless CMS toggle, or they will be doing this, that, and the other. So you'll find versions, maybe the paid version of something. I hope not. So suddenly I've just doubled the amount of money we're paying to plugin developers. Will change.
Yeah.
But it has to, because you know that 99.999 that Miriam was talking about, if every single one of the things that you've added in wants to go and talk to there, you've just gone and bashed all the holes back in the Fort Knox you built.
Yeah, I suppose the use case is a much more simple brochure, shall we say, site. I remember we spoke to the guys from Get Shifter and Hardy Press, which are doing the same thing, but on a much more, well, they don't have the team behind them that Stratic does, shall we say. And I think both of them, had managed to figure out a way of getting Contact Form 7 to work. And they had this laundry list of plugins which required calls to the database. And they were going to go through them and see if there was a way of figuring it out. And you're right, Leo, ultimately there is. But I suppose if you are just imagining that you're going to throw your super complicated Ajax-powered website with filtering and searching and all of that at this, it might not.
Yeah, so that's where Altus comes in, because they've got a product which is much more focused towards that environment. So I've forgotten what it's called now. Customer is making branch trees on what people are doing. So that's a really interesting thing. I think the other thing I just wanted to cover on both of these really quickly, on Stratic, I think this is their first fundraise. I don't know about Elementor, if this is their first.
No, I don't think it
Series
is.
A, it says
Sorry, it does say Series A. Yeah,
it says Series A, but I have a funny feeling they've raised before.
They did.
I think they were built on venture capital, but I think this is I think the first one was probably seed funding or something, and now this is Series A funding.
So in both cases, what I think we are seeing is that
I think Static raised before as well.
Right. Fine. What I'm saying is, in both cases, I think we are seeing we are definitely seeing a evolution of where that's going, and as they, they'll be building their products to go to their markets, and then you'll see a much bigger valuation coming out. But this is the same as everything else. It's just we're maturing in an industry, and maybe we can all start affording haircuts.
I mean, which side of the screen is that aimed at? Which side of the screen?
Exactly. Split down the middle here, isn't it?
Yeah, that was. Well, I'm gonna eat a biscuit now. I'm so cross.
We'll move on.
I'm going to move us on. And do you know, Vito? This is the strangest way I'm going to introduce this. I've been wanting to talk about your new platform.
Sure.
But because you haven't been on, we haven't talked about it. I should say that Vito's got this new thing that you can check out at my.wpfeedback.co. And because there was this piece of news this week and you were coming on, I thought
it was perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. But really, this piece of news is about to be superseded by everything that Vito says. Although you wrote this, right?
Yeah, well, yes and no. Some of it I wrote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. It doesn't contain 10,000 blocks, and it's not 700 million words long. But so you've got a new thing. Yeah. What is it? What's going on?
Right. So basically what we wanted to do is create an environment that cancels distractions for our community. This is part of the grander mission. Our mission was always from day one, let's fix communications for WordPress professionals. But when we launched WP Feedback, I came in as an agency owner. I wasn't a product maker yet. In my mind, what is a WordPress professional is only freelancers and agencies. That is what I saw as the people working in the space. Now I see it differently. So I still consider myself a WordPress professional, even though we don't build websites anymore. I consider you, Nathan, a WordPress professional running a podcast in the space and so on. So product makers, publications, all of these things. The mission it stayed the same, but the vision of it broadened to how can we help all of these people collaborate together, work together in a maturing industry that is becoming more and more fragmented as time passes. And when I looked at it, I saw that there was like loads of fragmentation in every different aspect of the ecosystem, from how we explore different plugins to how we actually communicate with each other, how we consume content, how we consume podcasts, and news articles and all of these kind of stuff. You got to jump between a million platforms to get just one thing every time. So that's what we did. We brought it all home. To us, this is our free offering. This is our gift to the community, to the ecosystem. And it was kind of a decision that instead of going down the standard route of building, just another free WordPress plugin that will be out there out of 60,000, we wanted to take the resources and the position that I managed to build over the past 8 months to create something that will not just create a small step forward for the ecosystem in the form of a free plugin or feedback plugin, but will take it a huge leap forward in terms of working together, collaborating, getting better at what we do. So there's a few really cool features that we created around this platform. And the idea is that because this is a platform that is designed for us, for WordPress professionals, we have the freedom to do what is needed for us on Facebook or on LinkedIn or Dribble even, or Behance, all of these kind of other platforms that are great for what they're doing. They are not for us. That's the main point. But you see, as industries mature, you always have this one point of collaboration, like Behance for graphic designers that is now owned by Adobe even, or LinkedIn if you want to find work, or stuff for interior designers that we built in the past through the agency before, and these kind of things. So bringing it all to one place, some really key differentiators that you will find in here is the feedback tool. So instead, you probably seen on Facebook, there's loads of posts where people share just like a screenshot of their website, and then you get like 80 to 100 comments below. So instead of that mess, we utilize the WP Feedback to allow people, you can even click the Design Studio, the top one, the Mad Lab one in there. Let's see how this one looks. And yeah, people can just upload their own designs onto here, and you can click the plus icon and give them feedback on what is going on. This is through like a graphic. So this guy took a screenshot of his beautiful homepage here. You see, he got even 5 stars for this design. But you can also install a free plugin that we created that will integrate your website to the community. It's completely 100% transparent, unless you come from within the network. So if you come from here, you will get all of these like little plus on the side and the reviews and all of these kind of nifty features to give the other side feedback. But if you just visit the website, you will not know it's there. Right. That's the feedback tool. That's one of the big differentiators. The second one that I really like in there is the sandbox. So every user that joins the community gets a free WordPress installation that they can wreck. You can go in there, install plugins, remove plugins. Don't care about the code, and if you're messing around with the functions.php file, or with your trying to create some kind of weird things together, or even check compatibility of two different items. If you have your little picture in there, Nathan, if you click on it,
oh God, really? Oh dear, what could happen? What could possibly go wrong?
So that's just going to take you to a fresh WordPress installation that you can just.
It's not in my case because I'm in incognito and it's blocked to pop up, but you know.
But that's the idea.
Yeah.
Now we're working with thousands of products at the moment to try and bring them all into here to create the first premium plugin repository. So the idea of the sandbox, that's cool, but it doesn't serve our mission. The repository serves the mission of breaking down the communication breakdowns between product makers that create premium products and the audience. Right now, if you want to check if WPML works with Gravity Form, you have to spend $400, buy both of them, put them on an environment that you set up, and check if they gel. I know I can say that they do because I did the test myself, but in a lot of cases, you have no idea until you dive into this game. And as an agency, as a former agency owner, I know that pretty much out of 10 plugins that you buy, you end up using just 6. And a big reason for that is because you're not sure what you're buying, and you have no way of actually checking it out until you put it on a set environment with your own stack. So that's what we're trying to bring into here. You have a place to just click it and install the plugin, premium plugin, in the same way that you install a free plugin nowadays. Play around, check it out. If it's good for you, you have another button that will take you to their platform so you can actually buy it there. So that's the
nice. Yeah.
That's the advance here. And then groups, I'll just finish with that one. The groups, basically the idea is that we on Facebook, and you have about 180,000 people in Facebook groups just related to WordPress. On LinkedIn, you have 90,000 people there. I'm not even talking about Reddit and Meetup that has 240K. The community is just fragmented all over the internet. And this also means that there's loads of, you're not really sure where to go to ask a question. Should I post it on Nathan's group or on Kyle's group or on Lee's group? Or on whatever, So what we tried to do here is we brought in all of the key influencers from the space and gave them an environment that is wrapped around the topic that they are the expertise of. So, for example, productivity and project management. I see it's the first one there. It's managed by Beth Livington that has a course for teaching WordPress people how to increase their productivity and better their project management. Security is being managed by Oliver from WebArcs that has a product that helps WordPress professionals keep their website secure. WordPress news and innovations. Look at this. We have Nathan over there.
Jerk.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have allowed him on the platform.
Yeah, and so on and so on. There's loads. Yeah, exactly.
It's great. Honestly, mate, what a lot of work. How do we sign up then? Do we go to myfeedback?
Just wpfeedback.co. Or even better, if you're going to click your own invite your WP buddies link there, Nathan, at the bottom.
That one.
See that little link?
Got it.
Now it's generating a landing page for you so that if people are coming through the podcast, you're also going to be rewarded when they upgrade. So this is now connected to your affiliate account as well.
Just so that you're absolutely clear, I never, ever get out of this T-shirt.
Yeah, it doesn't replace.
Yeah, it's just exactly the same picture. There I am. That's great.
Nathan, good picture.
Yeah. Who took that, Leo? I wonder.
I don't know. It's a good picture.
That's in Berlin.
Yeah, I think it was Leo. I think it was Leo with his camera.
More silver, so I think you got older.
Look, I'm taking this away. I've had enough ridicule. Taking that one away. Thanks for that. So go to go to my WP feedback.
No, even the main website. It's now that's the top kind of offering. And then if you want to work with clients, you're going to find the link over there to get you to now what is called WP Feedback Pro. So that's the dashboard and the plugin that we knew until here.
Thank you. Just hopping back in time
for this week, but next week the new venture.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm completely.
I can't talk about it, but there's news coming next week as well.
I bet there is.
14 companies.
I'm also expecting to. I know you haven't told me anything. I don't know any insider knowledge, but you're. It wouldn't surprise me if you're in the headlines with the investment anytime soon. I'm just saying that's my prediction. Who knows? Yeah, fingers
It'll
crossed.
be it'll be like Vito launches successful mission to Mars. Something like that.
Yeah, partnering with Elon.
Yeah, that's
Get
right.
there before Elon and Richard.
Right, I'm going to have to race through a few. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this one on the screen. No, I'm not. I'm going to fail to put it on the screen. Now I'm going to put it on the screen. And I'm just going to say, I'm not getting into politics, but go and read that because I don't want to get into that. That's just too weird. Featured themes are going away for a bit. That's all I've got to say about that. They'll probably come back at some point in the future. But if you've got a theme, it might disappear from the repository as featured. This is quite cool. This is a community event. I just think this is so clever. Don't you like that? I really like that. But if you actually spend a second thinking about it, it's so obvious what they did.
Yeah, it's just a background image.
No, but but it really beguiled me for a minute. I stared at it, was thinking, what's going on there? That's totally weird. Anyway, I really liked it. I don't know, just something very, very captivating about that. This is a new community event called WP Block Talk, where you can go, and there are some expert panelists who are going to be doing a kind of a virtual summit, I think is the right technical term for it, all about building blocks. So if you are a developer or you've got even a mild interest in creating blocks for your own, I don't know, agency or selling as a commercial plugin or something, go and check this out. You can sign up. It's basically join the email list. The dates are, where are the dates? April 2nd. Yeah, thank you for that. This is quite cool. Sorry, I'm racing through this. I hope I haven't sort of stopped anybody saying what they wanted to just there, but this seems quite cool to me. The idea of, taking it off, theme plugin, and I presume at some point block updates going to be automated, potentially from WordPress 5.5, which, as we now know, is not that far away. Don't know what everybody's thoughts are on this. I have two differing opinions on this. Number one, yes, do it. We all need to be updated. Number two, scary for people who run websites who don't have any technical expertise, whose site just dies and they have no understanding of why.
So
Leo, you're clearly in the former camp.
Yeah, I mean, I was. If anybody wants to, Tim Nash, who a lot of us will know, did a talk at WordCamp London called "Come Over to the Dark Side" last year. I'm sure many of you have seen that. He also took it on the road to a lot of the meetups. In that, he works for 34SP. He was saying that less than 1% of the sites that they run break when they do automatic updates.
Nice.
In reverse, the number of sites that are at risk because they don't do updates is substantial. This is all about the industry maturing. It's the same stuff that I've talked about already. We've just got to get there. We've got to get used to it. You expect your phone to update. You expect your PC to update. Yes, every now and again there will be the edge cases that break, but the ecosystem has to survive that, and we have to go forward. Taking this out of the hands of people who never do the updates. That's why, for us as business delivery people inside WordPress, wouldn't you love it to say that the number of WordPress vulnerabilities and the WordPress hacks have dropped by 80% this last year?
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah. How will that happen? Because the updates are happening, so there's no more vulnerable versions out there, and then suddenly everybody starts trusting WordPress.
Yeah, and also in a sense, I suppose it puts the onus back onto plugin and theme developers to keep their stuff maintained and up to scratch with the latest version, because it's going to be quick. It's going to be pretty obvious fairly soon, fairly quickly, as the reports come in, if everybody's plugin is updated, or rather, let's say core is updated automatically, and your plugin doesn't keep up, then I presume that people are going to, start trouncing that plugin. Vito has turned into a white circle.
Yeah, we've lost Vito.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he'll come back. I think that's a holding pattern. I think that's
it.
It's like Vito turned into a tadpole in Frogspawn.
But what happened there is, I think Vito has suddenly come up with a massive new international. Who's this?
Hello, my name is.
He can't do it. Come on, laugh.
Ronnie McDougall. But I'm returning the favor here.
Oh no, Paul's gone away. Oh no, God. The reason I should say, if you're watching this and have no context of this, last time Vito and Paul were on, Vito and Leo went off the camera for a minute and came back on wearing a big wig and proceeded to take the mickey out of Vito. So as soon as that episode was over, I said to Vito, "You've got to buy. You've just got to go and get one of these."
I bought a whole thing. Yeah.
And I said, "Please unleash it on." Oh, just beautiful timing. What a great opportunity. I'm going to struggle to get back to it. Right, who cares about automatic theme updates when you can wear a plastic thing on your head and look bald? It is good.
Big subject.
It smells horrible for some reason, though.
What, Leo?
Being bald.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm swayed by that argument, Leo. I think that's good. I am going to struggle to get back to normality now. Starters. Oh, put the screen on, Wrigley. Otherwise, nobody will see what's going on. Astra starter templates. I didn't really read this because I couldn't quite understand how this differed from their already pretty good offering of click, install a site, and adapt it. So I wasn't really too sure what the difference was.
I reckon that it's. That they've integrated it with the Astra theme customizer settings.
Got it.
So that by default, if you change customizer button color, the page builder buttons and all the different page builders they support will change. That's my guess. But I think
you're right. No, I think you're right. I seem to remember seeing a video somewhere down here, possibly.
I thought a really short article. So
yeah, I can't remember.
Totally messed with my understanding of where the article finishes.
Yeah, that looks like.
Yeah, I thought
we're on to the comments. Yeah, that's exactly what. Oh, I see. You didn't realize it went on and on. Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure that you're right, though, in that I seem to remember watching a video in the middle of last week where in the customizer, they altered button things, like rounded corners and background color of the button and what have you. And it changed across the whole site, irrespective of how you'd set that button up. So anyway, perhaps somebody can let us know. But there's an update with Astra. Just going to mention this one. Never come across this before, but it's like a page builder which spits out flat HTML. It's called Live Canvas. I know David is watching. David Von Grease, or at least he was a minute ago. Comments are not working, but thank you, Leo, for trying to keep me up to date. This is lovely, David. If you ever have had that problem where you want to hand over a site, but you feel like the WordPress admin is just a little bit too much, there's too much rubbish in there, or you fear that the clients are just going to get confused, a good idea is to customize that. And there is a whole variety of ways of doing it, but one of the better ones is Ultimate Dashboard by David Von Grease, author of the Page Builder Framework. And he released last week, 19th of Feb, version 2.9. And there's a whole bunch of changelog items there that you can see. But the most important one, I think, sitting right at the top, you can now create layouts in Beaver Builder and Elementor for your custom dashboard. So basically, if you can use a page builder, you can now allow your clients to have access to that as their dashboard and presumably save that as a template somewhere and use it over and over and over and over again. So very cool development. Anybody want to go on that one? Nope. Okay. Nope. In which case I will keep trucking along. Let me go back to my, oh dear, I'm getting all of a frazzle today. Just go over, there's a few deals going on at the moment. Most of these are on AppSumo, WP Data Tables, Wishlist Member, Happy Forms. No idea what Happy Forms is like. So I don't know, but I know that WP Foamify, which is on, is made by Puneet from IdeaBox, who make Power Pack for Beaver Builder. So I can imagine that.
Quick one on the forms, Nathan.
Say again.
Quick one on Happy Forms.
Click on it.
Not so much Happy Forms news, but obviously there's loads of form deals in the last 6 months or so. But Vito mentioned that someone had acquired a couple of plugins, and it was Web Ventures. And apparently they've acquired WeForms, which was a deal on AppSumo not long ago, which is interesting. And it got me thinking as well that with Elementor's investment, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Elementor buying up some skills of creators of some of the plugins to help them with probably what will be their SaaS platform. Yeah. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see Elementor acquiring some companies.
Do you see that, Paul? Like WPMU Dev did some purchases in the past and brought together things which were maturing.
Yeah. I think they'll be more interested in pulling together the skill behind whoever created that plugin to patch those things that you said about Leo, where 404s. How do you get around that? So I wouldn't be surprised if some of that money is used for that. But yeah, WeForms, that was a deal on AppSumo, is now acquired by Web Ventures.
Missed that one. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. There's a bunch of security news this week. It was fairly heavy news, but we won't cover it here. But basically, there's three actually. These are all on WordFence. Go and check them out if any of those plugins ring a bell. There is a job that's come up this week. It's for content writing or course creation for the Toolset guys. If you're familiar with using Toolset and you feel that you've got the right skills to throw together a course in English, I might add, I think they've said native English speakers, then EMEA wants to hear from you. It's fairly quick turnaround, but I think they want to push them out the door in 3 weeks or so. But this is quite interesting. They are offering, it says down here, I'm sure it said, yeah, look at this. Work could be either full-time project or part-time. So there's a potential for a full-time job being a course creator, which, wow, if you've got that skill and you are struggling to get clients through the door, that might be absolutely right up your street.
There's a couple of jobs over on poststatus.com as well.
Yeah. He's always got a ton of jobs as well.
Yeah, so, Genius, which is Gravity Forms, Facet WP, Themel, LearnDash, Grow, and some other one.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. We'll ignore all of these. I won't mention those, but what I want to do is quickly throw in something right at the last minute, if that's all right. The first one is that Leo mentioned this to me earlier. I'm just going to have to copy and paste the link from a different part of my setup. Okay, so this is quite an interesting piece over on WordFence. This is very much of the minute. Now, caveat emptor, I haven't the faintest idea where I sit on this yet. Not really. I don't have a medical understanding, but it obviously WordCamp Asia got cancelled because of the coronavirus. And WordFence, I've put out this piece which came out yesterday where they've nailed their colours to the mast, if you like, and they've said that they, as a company, that they made the point that they helped repatriate people from WordCamp Asia, which was very nice. They were joined by Yoast and another company whose name I've now forgotten.
GoDaddy.
Thank you. And they've said, that's it for us. We're not going to send any of our personnel from this point to any event. Basically, we're just going to say, look, let's just do everything remotely. Any sponsorship deals that they've already struck up for different WordCamps, they're going to pay them, but they're simply not going to show up and occupy their booth. Now, as a sort of corollary to that, I don't know if this was in answer to that question, because obviously that made a few people, I think, a little bit fearful. The question got raised, okay, if the guys over at WordFence are saying, look, we need to take this very seriously, and I actually really enjoyed reading this article. It was a very sort of dispassionate look at Mark Maunder's thoughts about, protecting the community and what have you. Then WordCamp Europe today came out with this piece. So this is really hot off the press, saying as of now, WordCamp Europe is still on. They're making the point that the government have not issued any kind of advice which would say don't put it on. And I just wondered what your thoughts were. Clearly, we're not qualified to talk about this from a medical point of view, but if anybody wants to leap in and talk about it just from their own interest point of view, feel free.
I would say that after the previous experience with Thailand, I wouldn't be taking people this year to any of these big camps. I might go myself, but I won't do what I plan to do this year, which was actually taking a lot more involvement in these camps with the team as well. Yeah, that's my take on this. Just because there is uncertainty, and when there's uncertainty, you gotta stop.
Yeah. I think caution is that even a phrase? Caution is the better part of valor. Is that a phrase?
I think it's there's a lot of stuff going around at the moment. We do not know where it's going, but the medical side of this is one area. Fingers crossed, people of a certain age, etc., aren't going to be too badly affected. But obviously, anybody with already their immunodepression systems are compromised will have issues. But it's it's not about that. I was talking to somebody about this. The issue is about the sheer volume. It's sort of arguing, like saying, well, we can have a whole year's worth of rain and there's no problem. But if we have a whole year's worth of rain in a month, which is how many people would get this, because nobody's got protection against this, because none of us have got the immunity yet, you're suddenly going to have no systems in place. So you may end up being able to go out there and there may not be any aeroplanes because there's nobody to fly them, or there's lots of other issues, and you're sitting there going, we don't know where it's going. And it's not that people are going to necessarily, hopefully not die. Lots and lots of people are going to die from this, but it could just affect all the natural running of things that you're used to. And that's the big issue. And I think it's right. I think we have to also sit there and go, we're in the technology industry and we get technology problems thrown in front of us, and how do we solve them? And if anything, we're demonstrating that right here, right now, that we are actually able to sit here and chat about the news, 4 of us in different parts of the UK, and we can run events and environments that will match. I appreciate that the hallway track will be the bit that we will all miss, but maybe we've got to see if this is the time that we can utilize our technology for the better and to try and make these things work. And then when you start throwing in all of the questions like, well, environmentally, do we really need to be flying as much as we're flying? This starts making you question certain elements to try and get them to work out. That's my sort of view.
Yeah, I think that's a really good insight, actually. I'll just point out what Mark has actually said. He said, as of now, this is WordFence's posture. They've cancelled their attendance of WordCamp. No, sorry, this is what he thinks should happen. Sorry. Cancel WordCamp Europe, cancel all other WordCamps globally in 2020 until further notice. Obviously, that means putting WordCamp US on hold, pending developments with the virus. And use the time and resources that are available after these cancellations to get on with remote events. And he makes the point that because, like Leo just said, because we're in the technology space, actually, of all the people on Earth, the WordCamp attendees and the WordPress users are probably more likely to be able to manage this than just about anybody else. So interesting. Paul, have you got any thoughts on this?
Following on what Jan did last year on the WP Agency Summit, and we wanted to actually do a proper summit last week in the same time that the Thailand event was supposed to happen. This is gonna be like a huge opportunity for continuing on Jan's journey this year. I don't know if you know, he's now the CTO for WP Feedback.
Yeah.
So we're working on this together to try and make sure that even if people can't leave, they will have a place to interact. They will have a place to this. But we're trying to look at this, like Nathan, you were saying, from a technological point of view, because we have this ability that within this space, we have this ability to actually take this massive crisis and create an opportunity for a lot of people to advance live streaming as a whole.
Yeah. So my take of that very quickly, Vito, is that I think what you were doing is really good. I think what we need to do, though, is maybe the whole of the community, which we are, needs to come together and organize so that those things are constructed correctly rather than they are done by one or another. That's the thing. At the moment, I'm not aware, and maybe Paul could answer this because he's got more experience. Have there ever been a more formalized, organized online WordCamp style environments, or is it just they seem to have come about, but they're not run the same way that the WordCamps themselves are? Maybe we need to have that added to
there isn't really. I don't think there's only the WordPress TV, and I think there's like all the people that I'd known who have ever mentioned about someone came up with an idea for an event have usually had their idea shut down, quite honestly.
I mean, you mentioned the one that Jan ran. There was the one run by I can't remember her name from South Africa. Who ran the one from South Africa? Nathan. He was on last week.
There was Anchan, wasn't it?
Anchan ran a really good conference. All of these ones at the moment, they are it's just maybe we've got to get to the point that the community we run these in a community. And the thing that I found slightly, I don't know what the right word is, the one that was run in place of WordCamp Asia just suddenly appeared in Slack 24 hours before it even started, and it's like, well, great, but that's not, it's just not the way to do it, and we could, we just need to find the right level. I also want to just go back very quickly. Andrew's put in a comment which you may or may not be able to, Nathan, put up.
I can't put it up unless I copy paste it.
Yeah. His comment was about how many people have flu, and that 29 million people have flu at the moment. The problem isn't that, Andrew. It's just the number of people who would get it in a single month. That's the issue, because flu, 80, something like half of the population are not going to get flu because they've already got immunity to the current one. Or it's more than that. So it's only a percentage of the population that can ever get it any year. This doesn't have that immunity levels. Sorry?
It's the viral effect that is concerning.
Exactly. It's the sheer number of people who could end up having it in a very, very short space of time. It's literally, as I said, it's like we all want rain every year, but if you get the whole lot of it in 1 week, it's you're in trouble. That's it. 1 year's worth of rain in 1 week. That's what this could do.
Right.
That's all. That's the problem with this. Not that we will have that many people will die from it.
Yeah.
Answers Andrew's point.
Paul?
Two quick things I just wanted to say. One is, like, I don't understand the medical side of it as well, but I did hear something along the lines of that it does have a high rate of people being hospitalized or needing hospital attention. So that's a logistical problem compared to regular flu, where you tend to just stay at home. And then the disruption economically, if it is a case of like whoever gets it has to self-isolate for 2 weeks, the more people that get it, the worse the economy is going to get, and it's already at its lowest point since the global financial crash. And then the second one was on the online events, and so all of the online events I'm aware of have all been unofficial and have had to stay unofficial. And I could be wrong, but I'm very doubtful that Matt Mullenweg was actively personally promoting any of those events at all. So if there isn't any more events this year, it'd be nice to see some of the political leaders in WordPress or Automatic getting on board and helping. That they might have sponsored some of these events, but it would be nice if there was some kind of, this is a really good thing for the WordPress community. I know they can't police it, and that's probably their problem, that they can't control this event because someone else is doing it. So they can't, for instance, like in that WordCamp, ban a particular advertiser because they put an advert up in a lift in a hotel or something. They got no control over that whatsoever. So it'd be interesting, on that front.
Yeah,
so,
that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's my exact thing, Paul. We want to get, this is the opportunity. Adversity equals opportunity, and by the end of next week, Vito will come out with another company to fill this hole anyway.
It already exists.
It already exists. The point is, though, we do need to sit there and go, right, we don't have organized official online word camps. Let's do them. And also bear in mind that opens WordPress camps or word camps to people who just literally can't travel to them for lots and lots of reasons, be it physical location or accessibility issues. And there's a lot of people, I think, who are massively active in this community who would be very, very happy to be attending a word camp at home. That said, obviously, I also, as I said earlier, the bit that we will lose is the hallway track. And that's the bit that we all, a lot of us attend for that reason. But I do think that there needs to be a balance. I really hope
there is a way to structure this as well. So what what is happening in, for example, gaming industries, which is what we're looking for inspiration around this topic, is like hangout rooms. So you have like a webinar that everyone can go in, go out, but that's the room is about this topic, and you can jump around between rooms, turn on the camera, and you're in interaction like we are. I don't feel that this is much different than when we meet in person at the WordPress meetup.
I think
It's a bit less smelly, but apart from that,
A lot less smelly.
Yeah,
We
I know
can
exactly what you mean. It's interesting. I have to say that article kind of convinced me. I'm working on the basis that article.
I think it's not a binary argument. That's the really important thing with these things. It's not a binary argument. It's not cancel all things, not run all things. It's like, how do you adapt to this environment that's changing? And I think that's really important. And I just want to also go back to Andrew again. He's put in another comment, and he, as he said, and I absolutely agree, the panic caused by corona is so out of kilter to any other illness. Absolutely, I don't think any of us are disagreeing with that, or I'm not. Funny enough, my wife works at the NHS centre that today it's announced that they've got one of their clinicians has it got announced earlier. She works at the cancer centre around the corner, and one of their clinicians has been diagnosed. So I absolutely agree that it's at the moment it's in stupid wildfire panic mode, but I do think this is an opportunity for us as a community to stand up and come up with something that makes these things better.
Right, that seems like as good a place as any to knock it on the head. Thank you, guys. Sorry for throwing that one at you, but I thought we'll probably go back to it next week and see how it goes. But I apologise massively. Anybody who's made a comment, there is no hope of me putting them in. And also Leo, I can't put anything in over 120 characters in the section. So,
I know how to fix this because I was on the string yard stuff earlier today, but not now.
Okay, well, we'll conflab on that if it happens next time. But
I appreciate. We'll talk after.
Okay. I appreciate anybody who made a comment. That's really helpful. Thanks very much indeed. I'll just go around quickly. If anybody wants to say something that they're up to this week or drop a sort of bombshell, feel free. Paul?
Just listening to various crime podcasts at the moment I'm addicted to. So that's about it. Apart from lots and lots of work and emails and projects and
crime podcasts.
Crime podcasts, they've overtaken WordPress podcasts for the moment.
Stop. Right, I'm going to move in on. Vito?
Nothing specific this week, just keeping on. Just come and join. It's free. We have 1,100 people after 3 weeks that already joined the community. And we want to get to 5,000 people over the next 3 months. With everyone here, that is definitely doable.
Thank you. And Leo, what's going on?
So every other Monday I donate plasma. Actually, no, I don't. I donate platelets nowadays. Forgotten. If you are a blood donor, they're going to need you in the next few weeks. And it's really nice. I mentioned this because just before we came on, I got my text that told me that my donation has now been issued to King's College Hospital. I love that. That they tell you after you donate where it gets used. And they draw you a little Google map of how your blood has been moved to here, to here, to here. And it's like, first class. But I won.
Can you go there and claim it back and ask for it back?
That's mine. That guy's got a bit of me in him.
They delivered at home. They sent it to King's College.
Exactly. But this could be an area where people are going to drop out of doing. So if you are and have the opportunity, if you can, put some in the bank before you need them. So that'll be my point.
We've all just been schooled upon how to close with the with the live. Just basically, if you don't do anything philanthropic, shut up, because Leo's just totally aced us all, hasn't he? Well done, Leo, with your blood comment. I was going to make a comment about work, so I'm just going to shut up now and say thanks for listening. Sorry about the comments. I'll try harder, but it's not my fault. It's definitely Leo Mendel's fault. And I've muted his microphone so he can't come back anyway. Did you see that? Yeah. What a classic finish. I've muted his mic and he still managed to get a comment in. That's brilliant. Right, okay. I'm going to mute everybody's mics. It wasn't just you, Leo. So thanks, guys. And stay on the line if you wouldn't mind. We'll have a quick natter.